I'm kind of gonna just have to trust that everything is okay and that you can see me all right. The screen is broken at the moment on my Canon G7X, so I can't flip it up so I can see myself. I just have it taped in place because my hinges actually snapped off. So my screen is literally being held on. Actually, it's not even tape, it's an actual Band-Aid. I literally used a Band-Aid to hold my camera together. So yeah, that's the state of things. That's kind of where we're at the moment. So I just got done at the dentist's office, and I'm over here by the lake, which is all frozen and iced over out here. It's actually not all the way iced over. If you look over far over there, you can see the water. And I actually don't know how thick the ice is. Probably not too thick because there's really not that many people out there, but there are some people out walking the trail here. So after my dentist appointment, I went over to the grocery store, bought a few groceries, and then came over here and parked. There's this big parking area, and it's kind of like a public park area, which is, it's a nice spot out here. Like I showed you, the lake and stuff. I just figured I'd cook myself some lunch. So I stopped at the grocery store, bought a couple of things, and then I came over here and I parked. So let me show you what I got while I was grocery shopping. First things first, I got some quesadillas here. I shouldn't say quesadillas, these are tortillas. I'm gonna make quesadillas, that's a plan anyway. If I pull my cooler out here. Yeah, I know this is a giant frozen bag of water, but you know, if it's not water, it's ice, and the ice keeps everything cold. But it does take up almost the entire cooler. So we've got some cheese, Mexican blend. Butter, because butter is essential for everything you cook. Chocolate milk, I'm gonna leave that in the cooler. That's for me to drink afterwards. It's not gonna be added to our meal. We've got sour cream. Funny story, I actually dropped one of these on the floor in the store and it spilled. And last but not least, I bought deli chicken. Now, the idea here, I've never done this before, full disclosure, never ever tried this ever. But I'm going to take some deli chicken, which is already cooked, I'm going to cut it up into slices, and I'm going to put it inside the tortilla with some cheese, and I'm going to grill that like a quesadilla. That's where the butter comes in. Some people like to oil their pan. I'm a big believer in butter. I used to be a huge Land O'Lakes fan, but then they changed the box, so you can't do the butter box trick anymore. If you don't know what the butter box trick is, look it up. But Land O'Lakes changed all of their boxes. You can't do the butter box trick anymore, which is kind of sad in my opinion. These are my ingredients, and again, I've never tried this before, but I was like, it doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. I just figured I would try it out and go for it. Now, before we can get to cooking, we have to do a little bit of setup and cleanup here. You can see I got my skis and my ski boots and a shovel all in here. It's been snowing quite a bit where I live in New Hampshire, and I've been doing some skiing, and it's always a good idea wherever you go to bring a shovel. You don't want to get snowed in somewhere. You know, this thing, it's a two-wheel drive, but it's pretty heavy. So I feel like if I can shovel out underneath my tires just to get myself moving, once I'm moving, I've got a pretty good shot at making it where I'm trying to go. So try and keep a shovel with you. That's my advice. I do really need to build a place. I would love to be able to keep my skis inside and not have them be in the way. So I do need to figure that out, and I would probably build that into my next van design, a place to put my skis. I was even thinking about it before I put anything in this van. I was thinking about where and how I would transport my skis, and I'm thinking I want to build a big rooftop deck / roof rack, and I could carry my skis up there. And then obviously I don't want them getting stolen, so if I wasn't using them and I was leaving my van out in public somewhere, I could always throw them in here and then just put them on the roof so they're out of the way when I'm trying to do stuff in here. Same goes for the shovel. Shovel would go up on the roof. So as of right now, that's my plan. Probably sometime this summer, I'm gonna build a nice big rooftop deck slash roof rack. Let's, honestly, I'm just gonna move my boots to right there, and probably, I really don't know where to put these things. They're not that bad in the way, it's just kind of annoying. It takes up my pathway here. We're just gonna leave that there, I guess. And once again, I have neglected to fix my stove setup here, so I can't really cook where the stove sits when I travel, but it sits on here so tightly and firm, and it looks nice that I just leave it there when I'm not using it. And I have been cooking stuff over here in this section, and that seems to be going okay. Oh, also, hat rack mounted in here. I like my hats, and I would like to keep a variety of them with me, because you never know what you're gonna need. Let's get the kitchen set up. Isn't it funny how much roomier the van looks on camera? Like, it actually looks very spacious on camera. It's really not that cramped in here, I feel, but I am only one person in here, and I'm not living in here, so I really don't have all of my life's necessities in here. I sort of have the bare bones, so if I'm caught out in a storm or something and had to camp the night, I would certainly be all right. I have my emergency cans of SpaghettiOs, which are a little bit frozen at the moment, but check this out here. Nice big griddle. It's gonna fit right over my 2 burners here, just about perfect. And I got that from my grandmother. She was getting rid of it, didn't really need it. I was like, heck yeah, I'll take that. I don't know if it's something I would permanently keep in here, because I'm not usually cooking that much food. I could usually use a singular pan, but yeah, we're just gonna use it for now, see how it works. So we get that on there. Gotta get my propane out, actually. That out of there. Still really don't have a good way of setting up this propane tank. I'm gonna stick these gloves underneath it just to keep it mounted up so it's not making my stove uneven. Alright, let's go ahead and light this stove up, shall we? It always makes me nervous to light it. I feel like that's the scariest part. Alright, that one's going. Turn that down. Keep that low. Let's turn this side on as well. And that is also lit. All right, cool. We're gonna take our big flat top here and put that on top. And we're gonna make sure these are cranked down just about as low as I can get them to go with it staying burning, because at the moment I really just want this to heat up. I don't really need it to get full blast. In my last cooking video I did out here, you might have saw that I didn't have any of the proper equipment, hardly any utensils to cook with. Well, I have rectified the situation. My Aunt Amy gave me a bunch of cooking utensils. So now I've got like preparation knives, some more dishes, some more utensils and stuff. All the good stuff I got now. So for right now, all I'm gonna need is a spatula for once we start actually cooking things. This knife, because I have to cut up the chicken, and I need a plate to prepare it all on, or something. Ah, screw it, we don't need a plate. We've got the chicken here, which we're just gonna pull right out. This is half a pound of sliced deli chicken. I like boar's head personally. And we're just gonna kind of slice the end here, just kind of chop it up, and it's slicing nice and easy. No problem there. And honestly, that is gonna be quite a bit once it's all broken up. Slice a little bit more just in case. But yeah, that is plenty. That's almost a quarter pound there. That's our chicken. And we're gonna get our quesadillas out here. Make sure you open it on the right side because it's a resealable bag. That out there. And we're going to get some of our chicken here and sprinkle it around. I don't know whether I should call this a cooking tutorial or a cooking adventure. I don't know what I want to call it, just because it's like, you know, you can watch this for advice if you want, but I would not, you know, don't take my word as gold, because I'm sort of just trying this out for the first time too, so. And we're gonna get our Mexican blend of cheese out and make a mess all over my van with it there. And we're going to just want to fold this guy in half, just like that. And now let's butter our big old pan and throw that on there. I'm actually gonna crack this side window here. Like I said, this thing's actually producing a lot of heat, so I'm really not worried about getting too cold back here. And I had heard that might be the case. I heard in a couple van life advice videos, which I tend to find myself watching every day. A lot of people were saying don't bother with a heater unless you're in extremely cold climates, because if you cook a big meal for dinner, chances are that is going to heat up your van more than enough. Now let's just see. Yeah, so this is hot, hot, hot. We want to turn that down even lower, because see, my butter is already burnt on there. So this is a non-stick pan, but still we're gonna get a fair amount of butter on there and set our quesadilla on. And it's gonna kind of fry itself in the butter, which is what I like personally. Let's take a look, see how we're doing here. Oh, that is looking excellent. We'll flip that over. Oh my god, I amaze myself sometimes, you guys. I did not think that would work out so perfectly. I thought for sure I'd be burning it or something. So a little more butter over here, and I actually prepared the second quesadilla, which we're gonna throw on there. I really don't know if you can call these quesadillas. You know, I'm sure there's some quesadilla purist out there that is gonna piss and moan and say that these aren't quesadillas, but you can hate if you want. I'm just gonna enjoy my masterpiece here. One great thing about this is I already used the deli chicken, so it's already been cooked, so I don't have to worry about trying to cook what's inside. I really just want to melt the cheese and crisp up the outside of the tortilla. So give that a tiny bit more heat coming off of that, just because I lowered it quite a bit. So I'll turn it up a little bit and get this last one crisp here. You can see the butter along the edge there sort of popping and boiling, frying if you will. Let's take a look at our new guy here. New guy needs a little more time to get to know everybody before we flip him. But his cheese is melting, so that's good. It smells pretty good in here right now from the quesadilla. When I cooked the bacon and the burger in here, not that I don't like the smell of those things, but it was a lot, and it really stunk up the place. But this year, because it's really only a flour tortilla and some butter, it really doesn't smell half bad. So that is one tortilla done. Let me flip that to the other side. I don't want mine burnt, I just like mine golden brown. Leave this one on here. This second one I made it a little bit thicker. Just sort of experimenting. Like I said, this is my first time doing this too. You're learning along with me here. Let's go ahead and cut this in half. That was a good crunch right there when I cut into it. I like the sound of that. This one doesn't have as much cheese, which probably should have put some more cheese in there, but get a load of that. You know, it's maybe not a meal like this, you know, you might want a side or something, but certainly like lunch for me, this is plenty. And I got my sour cream here. We're gonna crack into this. A little bit of sour cream. Actually need a spoon. Don't need a spoon this big, but it's the first spoon that I grabbed, so we're gonna use it. Let's flip this guy here. That guy's a little crispier on that side, but that's all right. Let's make sure he gets a chance to get to know some butter, because we didn't re-butter it, but that's all right too. Stick that on there. I really have to get some sort of kitchen setup going. My idea, when I do a kitchen, I don't really care about having a sink. I think that's a waste of space. I am an Eagle Scout, so you might have guessed I've done cooking like this in Boy Scouts before. The troop goes on a camp out and you cook a couple meals, and it's kind of fun, right? Well, one thing we do when we do our dishes, we have the 3-pot method. I'll do a video whenever I get this set up what the 3-pot method is exactly, but if you've been in scouting, you probably know. And that's what I plan on doing. That's how I would do my dishes if I was living in here. But as far as like a daily, like this spatula, for example, this doesn't really need to be washed. I would like to just have a rag in here that I could just wipe it down with and put it back, because it's really just got a little bit of butter on there, which is, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. Just a place to set dirty dishes, I guess, is really all I need at the moment. So I don't have to worry about them touching things and getting other things all gross and dirty as well. Actually gonna stick this stuff here. Well, not the tortillas, those don't need to go in my cooler. I'll find a home for those. But my cooler, I want to get my chocolate milk out of there. Drink some of that. I might not finish all of it today, but I'll throw the rest of my stuff in my cooler. And hopefully I don't forget about it. But look at that. That is looking like it is just about done, and we can get to eating. Let's go ahead and pull this second half of quesadilla off the grill there. It's one side, let's flip it over. Perfect, look at that, toasty golden brown on both sides. I am the king. But one thing I do think about and am concerned about, I always, when I'm done cooking, no matter what, as soon as I'm done cooking, this here gets detached. Just like that, done. Detached. Now, I don't really have to worry about the propane leaking out or anything like that. I'm gonna close this side window. Probably leave that window down there open for now, just because it's actually pretty warm in here. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, a winter hat at the moment. I take my winter hat off, but it's just, my hair is just a disaster. No one wants to look at that, so we're gonna leave the winter hat on, but it is pretty warm in here now. But look at my lunch sitting there. Doesn't that look amazing? It looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and dig into that. Piece here in half. Nice and crispy. I was thinking about getting salsa. I do a lot of times throw some salsa on top or on the side to dip it in. But I decided not to today. I just wasn't in a salsa kind of mood. So, no salsa. That is the great thing about growing up and cooking for yourself, is you get to make things exactly how you want them. There's actually somebody right next to me, so I'm just gonna close that just so we can't make eye contact. Because he's just, I feel like he's gonna stare right in at me. I feel like a lot of people come down here on their lunch breaks, or whatever. But yeah, let's actually eat this and tell you guys how it is. It looks pretty good. Dip a little sour cream on there. I mean, that's good enough for me. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like a chicken sandwich, but I dressed it up a little bit, you know, called it a quesadilla. This could stand to have a little seasoning. Probably salsa would have been just the kick it needed, or some hot sauce or something, but I don't know, this is pretty plain Jane, but other than that, it's good. I mean, I'm certainly going to eat all of it. One thing you might notice, right here, this little light, it's just got like 3M Velcro on the back, stick-on Velcro. Turns on. You can't really tell because it's already really bright in here, but that was I just saw this at the store and I was like, that's awesome, I really like that. I get these big lights on the ceiling, which all the lights on the ceiling only work if the key is in the ignition and is turned on. I'm really nervous about killing the battery in this because it's only the one battery that the car has. It's not like I don't have any battery bank system here, so unless the car is running, I really don't like to use these overhead lights. So I got a couple of these little stick-on lights here just to use, you know, if I ever need them. The problem is with this, it's not offensive at all. But it's really, there's nothing that's like, that was really good, I gotta come back, I gotta get another bite of that. It's really kind of just like, alright, that's not terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's really missing something, which again, hot sauce, salsa, or any sort of seasoning, definitely needs something. I'm not going to call this the best thing I've ever made, but I do like the idea using the deli chicken, which is already cooked, so you just have to heat it up, so. Here come the police. Would not be surprised if somebody called me in. Yep, look at that, they rolled it right next to me. Rolling by real slow. This is not great news for me. I think they're leaving. Well, there they go. They drove right by. The police around here where I am, they're known to be assholes to everybody, so it did make me a little bit nervous just then that he was gonna come over here and hassle me, but no, we're fine. It probably would have made a better video if he did hassle me, but yeah, alright, we're alright. So, let me show you real quick here my dishes. So, I did use a plate after all, a spatula, a knife, a spoon, and this pan. Now, pretty much everything here, if I had some paper towels or even just a couple of washcloths, I could wipe everything down to where I would be happy with it, because I didn't use any raw ingredients here. If I wipe sour cream off of that spoon and off of that plate and then reuse those later without them having been washed, this might sound gross to you. I don't really care, but I'm okay with that. If I just wipe those clean with a cloth or something, I'm okay with that. And then I could just wash the cloth later, which I'm realizing I should have washcloths in here. I don't know why I don't, or just rags or something. But yeah, that's all I got. And this pan here, I wouldn't recommend washing a type of pan like that anyway. If it got butter on it, like a little extra butter on there, that's a-okay, baby. I mean, if I had some paper towel, I'd just go ahead and wipe that son of a gun down. Actually, saying that, I might have some napkins in here, so maybe I will be able to clean up. Alright, so this pan, I set it on the carpet on the floor when it was still hot. And I have this was a carpet my mom had in our house and she was gonna throw it away. But I threw it in here for the winter time so I didn't ruin the carpeting the real carpeting on the floor, so this is just over it, so I don't really have to worry too much about it. So I was aware that this pan was hot when I was setting it on the floor, and I was kind of nervous that this might happen, and it did. I melted the carpet here a little bit. It's all melted just slightly right there. You actually really can't even tell on camera, but I can tell here in real life. So I did grab some napkins, and basically all I'm gonna do here, look at that. Clean. I am a-okay with that, guys. This pan is now seasoned. Look at that. These other dishes, I think I'm gonna wash when I get back to the house. Eventually, I would love to have this set up so I can just leave the stove wherever it sits and then, you know, start cooking when I start cooking. But for right now, you know, it is what it is. All my dirty dishes. This pan here, now that it's not hot, it's cooled off. Look, stick that right back there. It's really doesn't move. It doesn't really have room to move even if it wanted to. It could slide around, but it's really not gonna. Let's actually reattach everything because I'm actually going to be leaving this parking spot. Where I'm parked at the moment, I'll get out and show you before I leave here. Sort of my surroundings, what it looks like, because it is kind of a pretty area here down on the frozen lake. But it's not the kind of place you would want to try and camp for the night. You know, the police just rolled through here, and I think they were, you know, had they been a little bit bored and looking for something to do, they probably would have stopped and hassled me just for sitting and cooking inside my van here. And it's the middle of the freaking day, so if you tried doing that at night, for sure you'd have the police down here giving you a hard time. The carpet where I melted it, it's all sticky down there because it's melted. But yeah, this here, don't worry, I already checked. I made sure my little things aren't still hot there. And now that is clamped on just like that. My dirty dishes. What do I do, guys? What do I do with my dirty dishes? I don't have really much of an option. I think I'm just going to take them and set them down here on the floor, and hopefully they kind of stay on that plate and don't really move around too much. I mean, yeah, that's fine. And I'm just gonna wash those when I get back to the house. Definitely need a wash bin in here. All right, let me get out and I'll show you guys where I'm parked real quick. Got a little drone up there. That's kind of cool. Flying some drones at the park today. So, yeah, you can see there's a walking trail that goes all the way down that way, which will actually take you to the next town over if you follow it all the way through, which maybe I'll do a video sometime. I'd like to ride my bike down that trail in the summer. But this is sort of an inlet here from the lake over on this side. And I'm just parked here in the parking lot. And it's a pretty good sized parking area here that you can walk around. And there's a baseball field over there and some basketball courts and tennis courts, and then a nice big open field which looks like people are snowmobiling in it this time of year. But yeah, we're just out here enjoying ourselves, parked out by the lake. And that was a nice little lunch, and now I'm gonna head home and take care of those dishes and see what else my day holds. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.